I also was like, damn it, am I gonna have to change my tagline because I'm technically a Zennial, but like,
That's what so the beginning of this podcast was like, so what do we have in common? We're kind of the in-betweeners. Like we can either be older Gen Zs or young millennials. Like, which one you want to take.
exactly. That's the thing. That's why I put like cool young millennial onto because I was like, I don't know, like technically I'm a millennial, but also like I don't know, y'all. The way they talk about the financial crisis in 2008, I'm like, I wasn't worried about getting a job then. I was still in school.
No,
Right.
no.
I was in high school, so.
Right.
We didn't get to like go to the Occupy movement or any of that either.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, ah.
Wait, let me tell you about some foolery. So I was like Team Occupy Wall Street. So I thought it was cute to get like the Starbucks, like the thing that they put on the cup. And then I wore it around my wrist and wrote hashtag Occupy. Little did I know, Starbucks, big capitalist company, but I thought it was cute.
Yeah, that's really ironic.
You were making a statement. Not a statement, a statement.
Really
You
thought I was doing
you used to
something.
be like mad like wristband guy. Like you had like
I had
Live
a-
Strong.
Oh no, not the Live Strong.
You had a problematic wrist in high school.
Damn.
You got a problematic wrist.
Welcome to the Avant Inn. I am one of your hosts, Jerome Allen.
And I am another host, Topher Wagner.
And today we have the iconic, the ambitious, the amazing, the royal, Khadija!
Hi. Oh, the royal. Excuse me.
Gotta give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, what you call an icon living?
Oh, stop this. Stop this. I get very scared about that, though, because people like to put women up on pedestals and then immediately tear them down. Look what we did to Anne Hathaway.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. I'm coming in hot. I'm like,
They read our playbook. Right. You knew we were coming for the drama. The gotcha questions.
Yeah, got us. So, Khadija, one of our first questions is, how often do you pray to the sixth god, Drake himself?
You had to know it was
a
coming.
serious question. I was like, pray to, oh no.
Not the prayer. Not the
Listen.
Oh, we starting with religion.
Listen. So, as y'all know, Drake helped build the city of Toronto back in 1903. And as a result, every year around, I want to say October, OVO October.
October's finest.
That's like, yeah, OVO Fest, like from the outside, it looks like a music festival. Like it looks like, oh yeah, we having fun here, all my homies. What's up? Megan Thee Stallion come through. Sure. In Toronto, though, it's actually more like a Wiccan ceremony. You have to bring in a different Drake album as an offering. And as soon as you place it in front of him, he sits on this weird throne. I don't know how to explain. I probably shouldn't even be talking about this, to be honest.
Yeah,
This is some
Trade
deep cut
secrets
Toronto
right now.
shit.
Probably should not even be telling you any of this.
Daddy
You
Trudeau,
filthy
please.
Americans.
So normally we are like a current events, politics kind of podcast, and we figured there was literally nothing more current than the latest season of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
So that's honestly the main story right now for us. I'm sure for you as well, hopefully.
So,
Listen. I just say listen. Keep going.
We were ready. We were like,
so the winner. You know the winner?
I do. I watched yesterday, and then I posted it at like 3 a.m, and somebody was like, spoilers, and I was like, bitch!
Wait, we also watched at 2 a.m.
we did.
Like,
Waiting for that
everybody's
Amazon
gonna
drop.
spoil. Thank you. Everyone's gonna spoil it. We have Crave though, so it shows up pretty early.
Oh,
Yeah, we
use it
don't
on
have Hulu
Prime.
here. But,
Well, this
but it
episode
does-
won't air for a few days, so like then they have plenty of time. Like no one
True.
can get mad about it.
Exactly. But anyway, yes, I did watch it.
Are you a fan of the winner? We're just, I guess we just spoil it on the cast for those watching.
Simone.
Simone Simonier.
Ooh, don't let the smooth taste fool you. Ooh, is your blood sugar low? I just, Simone,
Wait, yeah.
Sweet Tooth was iconic.
she was just like, no, I had a cardiac arrest on the way here. Like, I was like, I can't.
Factory.
I had 51% of this flag factory.
Deborah. That's a classic.
Forgot about that one.
Also, love how she went out with a bang. Literally, when that hair like fucking.
I know.
Like,
I wish.
How did that even happen?
Shook.
I wish the cameras would have been on her more, because if they would have caught that moment, ooh. But yeah, no, it was great. That dress with the nails, I was like, excuse me?
Oh yeah, the nails.
Coming like this.
And then her nails on her feet. I was like, so I need Simone Simonier to style me if I ever graced a red carpet of anything. I need her to just give me. She used to be an emo kid. She, I feel like we'd relate. So I just, black emos unite,
Wait, she was an emo kid growing up in Arkansas?
Yeah.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we were seeing kids growing up in North Carolina.
I think we're just young enough that we missed the emo phase into the scene kid.
True.
I thought
Went
they were
from all
both
black to-
overlapping, though.
I think there was some overlap.
Both went to Hot Topic. Let's be clear.
It was whatever Hot Topic was selling.
How do you feel about Gottmik not even getting the grace of second place?
Okay,
That's weird to me. That is weird to me. Like, okay, but here's the thing. I know that Gottmik is not like, I don't know if she was the best lip syncer, Like Simone, I feel like to be honest, I feel like the top 4 queens, Candy has like the most fire with the lip sync. Mm-hmm. They all have very different styles, I'll say. I feel like, Candy's a very like fiery lip syncer. Simone is very like, I'm going to catch you with the eyes, which, we appreciate. Mm-hmm. But Gottmik didn't really lip sync that much in the or at all in the season, really. So like maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I think only twice.
And I went back
at the very beginning, and then at the end.
I went back and rewatched at the very beginning, and Gottmik and Utica's, it was awkward.
Everything Utica does is awkward.
Well, yes.
Yeah, we gotta chop that up a little. So
not the squirrel wig, Utica. Girl.
I just think it would be inappropriate if I were
This
to wear.
is so good. Oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah, okay, so I thought that was strange. The Utica was like a little overconscious when it came to like not offending the black queens, but then when it came to fat shaming,
She was
no
on
problem at all.
Like, I was like, how you gonna be loud and wrong? Like, you gotta pick. Like, this is just. I just think Utica is an exemplary example. That's right. I said it twice. Of white liberalism.
I thought that. I was like, come on, Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, but I'll take the L on this one because I honestly caught myself in that same white liberal mindset when the Black American Princess thing came on. I was like, oh, she's not really going to do that, is she? And he was like, why? It's fine.
God.
And I was like,
She's dressing her.
and then I was like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just like my gut reaction was like, that seems unsafe.
But here's the thing, and I'm curious about your thoughts, Khadija. Like, I think that when white people get placed in a moment where they have to like either do, replicate, or honor black art, they fall into like, oh, well, I can't do a minstrel show. And it's like, well, that's not what we're asking you to do.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. To me, I think it's a thing of like, last summer. Okay, here we go.
Oh, we're getting into it.
White people, hi. If you guys want to play some sad music underneath this and turn this to black and white while I talk. Exactly. I want to know, are you okay? Because I know that last summer, a lot of you turned on each other. You were fighting. You were exposing each other. Receipts were shed all over the internet. And I just want to know, are y'all good? Because seriously, actually, what, like, white people are fighting. Like, I was literally standing back like, is this still about black lives?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just think white people get very worried now
Hmm.
about doing the wrong thing. Everybody gets worried about it, but like it's like a surface level thing of people thinking that if they just have the conversations that works. Do you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah. I mean, that leads to the question, like, how many texts did you get from white people last summer? How are you doing? Yes. Such an eye roll.
like I'd like to say the white folks that I'm close friends with are generally very smart. So, for the most part, there wasn't anything wild, you know? And like, if people did reach out to me, it was very like loving and whatever. There were white people that I had never spoken to, or not never spoken to, but hadn't spoken to in years, messaging me things that I had forgot they did. And I was like,
Oh no.
I am not a
Oh.
priest. Why are you confessing to me? Like, I was just like, and then didn't realize that I would have to deal with all this bullshit.
It's like part of the 12-step program of whiteness where you have to like make amends.
That's literally it. Oh my God. People would message me on Instagram because at that time as well, people weren't randomly reaching out. I had posted that video about my school and stuff. And so way more people started reaching out to me. And then, yeah, it was just a bunch of people that I hadn't spoken to in years reminding me of things that I had probably blocked out because my brain protects me. So, trauma. So I just was like, they would like bring up stuff and be like, I'm so sorry that I did this, blah, blah, blah. Or like, because I said in the video, we're all racist, just acknowledge it. I had white people messaging me like, I am racist. And I was like, okay. Oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me how racist I am.
It was, oh God. And I understood the sentiment, but I was just like, y'all, you know what I think it really boils down to? Controversial opinion.
Ooh,
Hot take.
Watch out, Twitter.
People do not, or I think we really underestimate the power of emotions in society. Like, we're all trying to like figure out how to talk to each other and all of these things. And I'm just like, how about you take a step back, reckon with your emotions and your feelings before you speak? Do you know what I'm saying? Because your feelings will tell you a lot of info. It's data. It's a lot of info. And we all have them all the time. Because if I'm feeling guilty about something, I'm like, okay, well, what am I feeling? Guilt. Is that something I need to be putting on somebody else? No. So that I won't message them this nonsense.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Well, there's something about secondhand trauma too that plays into it. That calculus isn't being done, right?
Well, and like the act of apologizing sort of implies that you're expecting some sort of like forgiveness or like they're gonna like
Yes!
wash away your sins. Like do some Hail Marys to Al Sharpton or whatever, and
Sorry, my battery just died. I don't know what the Al Sharpton thing was. Oh, the camera's like zoomed in more. People are going to tell this is a different shot. Zoom out. Not that far out.
It's funny how much that like comes behind you and it makes you look translucent.
yeah. Does it look like that on the camera or is that just the zoom?
That's just the zoom. No, the camera looks fine.
Zoom is so like I don't understand how they're making these MacBooks and stuff so expensive and the camera's not getting better.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like I purchased this new MacBook and they were like, okay, I was like, oh, is it a better camera? They were like, the microphone's really good, blah 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 blah. 720p. I was like, what?
720.
So this MacBook is like $2,000, but the camera is worse than my iPhone. Okay.
No, they just
But
want
the
you to buy
Retina
another one.
display is what you're paying for.
Like for what, girl? Well, I don't even know what the hell. What is Retina display?
I think it's supposed to like be so high quality that it replicates the human eye, like the way you actually perceive things.
What?
I mean, I don't even subscribe to any Apple products, so I'm not here to defend them. I'm not here to do a PR stunt.
He loves
I
Tim
think-
Cook.
Listen, I foolishly bought an iPhone in 2011, and ever since, they
How
did
many
this on purpose.
if you could calculate how many hours you spent in an Apple store, what would be your estimate?
Oh, not that much time. No. After a while, listen, my last phone, I was like, what's the cheapest phone I could get? A 6? All right, cool. I'm gonna just grab that. I'm gonna order it. They're gonna mail it to me. I just don't like, there's no point. Although I
You're
did
using
go,
a 6?
Not anymore, because last year the battery kept getting so hot. It was really hot in Toronto. The battery kept getting hot and the phone kept dying, and I was like, I need a new phone. That's the way I use technology. I will abuse it until it's like, okay, Khadija. Like, I had to get a new laptop because I was editing all these videos on a MacBook Air without an external hard drive. Yeah, I learned my lesson, because that MacBook Air now, if it's not plugged in, the battery just dies.
We're all learning.
Wow.
Our technology every week, I feel like we're
It's
like, okay,
gotten
we need to
better.
get this now.
Yeah, we had to get like the dual focus right. We're just becoming like tech nerds all of a sudden. Like, oh, have you heard about the 3789 DSLR?
Yeah, it's wild. Like, I can't wait till I start getting into lenses, and all of a sudden I have the lens where like the
Yes.
background's blurry, and I'm like, look at her, bitch! Look at me! Yeah, you can only
Little
look at
close up.
me. You can't tell what's going on, huh?
Are you still using the natural light from your window?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Sorry, I don't know why I got so upset with you.
I think you do, because he was about to
I
throw
was
some
about to
shade.
I was
He
about to throw some
something
shade.
into your
Because just last
life.
night we were watching, you were like, "Light, I need you right here," and we're like, "She been doing this a year? It's still not the ring
Okay,
light?"
all right. Wow. Okay, you know what?
I mean, the lighting looks amazing now. Get that.
Does it look
11 a.m.
amazing now? Does it look amazing now? Somebody messaged me and was like, why is everyone complaining about your lighting? It was always the funniest part of your videos. And I was like, oh.
Not the funny.
Funnier than the parts that were intentionally funny.
I'm like, y'all, I love everyone that subscribed to my channel, but y'all are shady as hell. It's funny. And I appreciate it because I can laugh at myself, but y'all are rude. Okay.
It seems like the
Also-
kind of community that like allows a little shade.
That's what
Did I
I want.
misread?
Like,
Okay.
I want us to be able to make fun of each other. Like, this is literally all I do with my friends. But no, I do have a ring light. The thing is, off the record. Actually, I don't know. When is this coming out?
We're gonna take time to edit it, so maybe like mid-May. But we'll send you a copy of it first.
Okay, cool. If it's mid-May, that's fine. I'm moving. Yes. So I'm actually, that's why everything's kind of bare and like everything looks like a disaster. But yeah, I'm moving like next week. So actually to Quebec. So
Oh.
yeah.
Wow.
That's
Okay,
why
let's
you're
study
learning
abroad.
Yeah. I just have been keeping it low because I don't want people to know until I'm actually like gone. Just because my mom has always been that way and it's like instilled that paranoia in me. But yeah, I have a ring light and I used it for like an interview and stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to be filming during the day. I'm just going to pack it up. Like my living room is a disaster right now because there are boxes everywhere. So that's the only reason I haven't been using the ring light in other vids, because I'm like, I'm just gonna set up, okay? We're just gonna have, so the next time these bitches see me, I'm gonna have a nice setup. We're gonna have an office, okay? Cute little table. Everything is gonna be cute, okay? And then I'm gonna look at everyone and be like, look at you. Don't you feel dumb?
Gonna have the insecure lighting.
And your fans will all say, "Oh, they used to be relatable, and now they've sold
Exactly.
out."
That's the other thing. Y'all will want people to be relatable. Tell me make it make sense. Y'all want people to be relatable and then
can't.
turn around and get mad when they make advancements, but you're mad at people for not looking better.
You just want something to complain about.
Yeah.
Somebody said fame was a type of abuse, and I was like,
Oh, bars.
True. Well, it's because like people like, well, they'll flatten your image right into this one thing.
oh my God, yes. And I'm not even, I don't even know why I said fame. I'm not famous, but you know what I mean? Like, just, yeah,
on
any
your
sort
way.
of, any, thank you.
Yeah, you're like, wait, yeah. Before,
Uh-oh.
how are you navigating the space of YouTube? Like, you know, there's other like YouTubers that comment on other YouTubers, and there's this whole climate. Like, how are you, like, how have you entered that space, and how are you navigating it?
I don't know. I feel pretty like I'm just being me. Like I comment on videos that I like, and people will be like, "Oh my God, Khadija, you watch this content?" And I'm like, "Duh!" Like, yeah. Like I don't know. I think it's always so funny to me because I feel like people will see YouTubers comment on each other's things, but I don't know if they see it that often, so it feels like some sort of elusive club thing. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
like we love ContraPoints, and you know
Yeah,
ContraPoints,
same.
yeah.
yes, I love her. And it's so funny because I didn't discover her until towards the end of last year somehow.
Same.
Like, it was very like random. The first video I ever watched was her beauty video. And I remember being like, oh my God, yes. Somebody is waxing poetic about philosophy, but also is just looking beautiful and is like, I'm obsessed with Kim Kardashian. I'm not about the Kim Kardashian part, but I'm like, I don't know. I really appreciated seeing that kind of like personality because I love looking cute, dressing up, being whatever, but I also like talking about stuff like this. And I feel like people, when you look a certain way, they kind of put you into certain boxes. So yeah, I don't know. But navigating the space, I don't know. I think I don't really know if to me, I don't know if there's anything to navigate. I just kind of comment on whoever's videos I'm watching and hope there's some engagement to help with their algorithm and just be like, yeah, like, I don't know. If I like it, I just, yeah.
Right, but it's not a conscious effort of like, I need to engage with these specific groups so that I'm like associated with them.
Oh, no,
You're just
no,
you're just being you.
Yeah, I just comment on the videos that I watch, like the channels and the thing is the channels that I watch, because the audience that I have is similar to me, they are going to watch the same channels. So I always laugh when people are surprised if I like comment on a Philosophy Tube video or a D'Angelo Wallace or T Noir or anyone like that. And I'm like, y'all do know that I consume YouTube too, right? Like,
yeah, we watch all those ones you just listed.
But that's the thing. I'm like, all of us are watching pretty much the same thing because the internet is not a reflection of the world. It's a reflection of your beliefs reflected back to you. Like, that's just literally it. Like, and so whenever people are surprised, like, I always go back to the example of like the US election, how so many people, like almost half the nation voted for Trump, and everyone was surprised by that. But I was like, how are you surprised? Like, you only see what the algorithm, the things that you like, it's going to feed you more of what you like. So you're not seeing that 50% of the population in America, at least, and parts of Canada for some odd reason. I'm like, it's not even your election, like, girl. But like, those people don't have the same beliefs as you, you know? I feel like it's easy to trick yourself into thinking that everyone thinks the same way as you when you spend too much time on the internet. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we really enjoyed your Video Vixen hip hop video, and we would love to chop that up a little bit more. So what was your, like, one, I'll just say this, like, I haven't thought about that book, Confessions of Video Vixen, since like my mom read it. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, deep cut.
Right?
What was the inspiration behind that? Like, you found the book at like a thrift store and you were like, let me get in this.
No. Oh my God. What was the inspiration? Okay. Because I'm trying to remember. Like, usually when I'm thinking of a video, I'm not even sitting there going, what video am I going to do next? I just like will randomly be biking or walking around my house, and all of a sudden I'm like, what happened to that? Oh, that'd be interesting. So I honestly can't remember what gave me the idea for the Video Vixen vid. Like, I can't remember what was going on. I honestly can't remember. But then I remembered the book. And I had never read it, but I just remembered I was like, there is a Video Vixen book. Like, that's a thing. Okay. So I look it up and I see Confessions of a Video Vixen. I was like, oh, right. Okay. There were some issues around this, I think. But I was too young then, whatever. So I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, God. Okay. Hello. And
you were like Fred Durst. Oh.
It was. Listen, that
Shocking.
book, for everything, I think it's so funny to me, for everything that everyone was talking about, like, shitting on her, basically, I'm like, did y'all not remember the whole first half of the book about the trauma that she talks about? Because I had to put it down a few times, because I was like, sheesh. But that was one of the most fun times. That and my cuffing season video are, like, two of my favorites that I've, editing-wise, because I just feel like I put a lot of like attention into that and like a lot of detail into that sort of stuff, and like making sure it seemed like a sort of documentary, if you will, as much of a documentary as it can seem like on YouTube, you know?
Right. That's what we appreciate about your content. It's very nuanced, very specific.
Yeah, you definitely do your research. Like, by the time we got to the end of that series, I was like, I did not expect them to go this deep from starting at the Video Vixen, and then we got to the end talking about like the way
Access
Black and Latino
and
women are like represented and what that means as far as like sexual access and stuff. I was like, whoa, I did not draw that line immediately. That book though, like, really needed to be brought back to light. I don't know if anyone else had been like discussing it, but it kind of reminded me of like the Mia Farrow documentary that came out recently. Because like when that story first broke, everyone just trashed her, and like nothing came of it. And
I'm not
just
familiar
sort of
with that. Can you
dismissed it.
tell me?
So Woody Allen is like a filmmaker, like New
Oh,
York
yes.
filmmaker, and he sexually, he molested his 12-year-old. No, she was 4, 5. She was
Nine, maybe.
she was a small child.
Okay, wow.
And then like a few years later, he ended up marrying his stepdaughter. And then a few years later, the daughter came out and said like, my father molested me, and then no one believed her up until the Me Too movement. And this documentary is
Right.
like a 4-part. It's on HBO Max. It's yeah, it's kind of like watching the Michael Jackson one. It's
Oh,
intense.
I
But
didn't
she
watch
was
that
too
one.
young to like actually defend herself or like talk about it. So her mom was doing it, and then everybody said that Mia Farrow was just a scorned lover because he married her stepdaughter, and so because she was upset at him for cheating on her with her stepdaughter, she made up a lie about her other daughter being sexually assaulted, and everybody just thought like she's obviously just lying.
The patriarchy.
Ooh, I love that. The patriarchy. No,
She gave
because
it the run.
like seriously, we just hated women in the early 2000s. Like for many years, for sure. But definitely in that time period, like, and because I've listened to this podcast called "Lee, Do You Remember This?" Have y'all ever heard of it?
No. Tell us more.
Oh, you're about to have a favorite podcast. It is incredible. It's oh, I can't remember her name. She says her name in every episode. I don't know why I can't remember her name, but she basically talks about random things from the 2000s. So it's like right now she's doing a series on the girls next door. And she's like walking you through the journey of the Playboy Mansion and Hugh Hefner, and then how the girls, how Playboy like fell out of popularity, but then got back into popularity in the 90s and 2000s, and how the girls next door became a thing, and talking about each of them. She talks about the bling ring. I don't know if y'all remember that. Those teenagers that like broke into Orlando Bloom's house and Lindsay Lohan's house, and what's it
They
called?
made a movie.
Yeah, and they stole their stuff, and there was like this whole thing. Like they broke into a few different celebs' houses, Audrina Patridge and stuff like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, she talks about like Hillary and Lindsay's feud, Paris and Lindsay's feud. It's quite interesting, and just the way she tells a story and narrates it is so funny. And all the receipts she comes up with of how horrible a lot of these dudes were, like Wilder Valderrama's like propensity for dating very young women. Did I use that word right?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. For dating very people, it's time y'all know I actually cannot spell and my grammar is awful. So I sound smart, but like listen. But no, like she goes through all of that stuff, and like when she's like playing clips of people talking on like the Howard Stern show, like there's this like way too long of a segment where Wilder Valderrama is talking about how him and Mandy Moore used to date, and how he slept with her and was like lying, saying that he slept with her because we were obsessed with young girls' virginity, or young white girls' virginity, I should say, at that time. It was wild. I was like, ah! Like listening to the audio, I was like, who let this get past anything?
Oh my god.
Like we lived through that. Like we were
Yeah.
kids in this time where adults were just
The
terrible.
worst. So now they get weird because we're all like, freedom for everyone, blah, blah, blah. They're like, why are the kids or the young people like this? And it's like, because we watched y'all be fucking terrible. Okay?
But what is it about, like, you know, the end of tabloid culture and the beginning of Me Too kind of having an intersection, right? Like we're no longer like so obsessed with what TMZ has to say or anything like that. Now it's like, oh, I'll just go to that person's IG. I'll just go to their OnlyFans. Like there's something about that democratization of like celebrities that it feels a lot less predatory, basically.
Yeah, well, I think it's also part of it is that they did change a lot of laws. Because the way people like, you know, we talk about Britney Spears now, you're not, I don't think you're allowed to follow celebrities like that. Whereas before you were, you know? I don't know what the rules exactly are. I don't know. This is just little stuff that I was watching. But yeah, I think as well, just the nature of celebrities changing. Because if you even think about the fact that influencers are now a subsect of celebrity, you know, like they're like a different, I don't know how to explain it. How do you...
It definitely is a different echelon of people.
Yeah.
Because we were saying, like, what's funny about like the Republicans like always coming for AOC is that AOC has influencer energy. Like she's
Yeah,
able to get
definitely.
people to look
Yes.
at her.
Definitely.
Whereas Mitch McConnell or fucking Ted Cruz, no one, ain't no one trying to look.
Mitch, sit down. Be quiet.
Well, because most politicians, if they want to get their word out, they have to like book CNN and then hope that in like a 2-minute segment they can like get their soundbite in. And AOC will just go on live for like an hour and break down everything. And they're thoroughly entertaining and very educational.
And that's the thing too. Like she's only a couple years older than me, I think. She's like, I think was she born in 89 or 90? Like she might be closer to
She was
Zennial
28
age.
when she got elected. I think
See,
she's 30.
wild.
30 now.
Okay, see, so she's only a couple years older than me. But like, that's the thing. I'm just like, I talked about this before about how like, there's like a subsect of us in the millennial category that were born in the 90s. And so we kind of like are teetering between both because we're like, yeah, we're like social justice-y, yes, all the things. And then we're also like, we kind of remember not having the internet as much, but we know how to have the internet because all of the, like I talked about how like in the year 2000 and the year 2010, that decade, how much did technology change?
We went from like a
Like
flippy
think
to
about
a razor.
that. Exactly. Oh my God. Another
Remember what
battery
the
is
internet
about
used to
die.
sound like? Like you could hear the internet.
Not what the internet looked like. What it used to sound like. Or that dum bum 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 bum. And your computer would
But
open.
AOL really fell off their game too. Like no one's on AOL.com.
And Yahoo. Y'all just let Google come. Y'all just let Google come over and take all your shit. You really just wow. Hate to see it.
Y'all not using the Yahoo Drive?
Wait, is Yahoo still here? Yahoo still got the weather app and the email and everything?
There's a news team. There's a whole news team.
Wait, I was gonna make a point about the generational thing.
Yes.
But I've only recently noticed like older millennials, like because we're all on like the bottom
90s,
side of that, right? Yeah, like that 90s. And I guess my brother was born in like 88 or something. And like those millennials that are in their mid 30s, like they supported same-sex marriage and just stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
about as
yes.
aware they are about social issues. And they think that they're still like caught up.
That's it.
It's so true because I think, and to me, the reason that I think like we might have to start re-examining generation whatevers, or at least at that time period, is because, yeah, technology from that decade changed so much. Whereas from 1980 to 1989, yeah, stuff changed for sure. Like what we got the VCR, or like caller ID, I think was invented in like the early 90s.
Wow.
Shit,
Yeah,
I forgot
like,
that didn't exist until
very early 90s is when it started coming out. But like 1990 to 1999, maybe we got more cell phones or computers started to become more of a thing, AOL, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, 2000 to 2010, we went from CDs. 2010, who would own CDs anymore? You know, and like
We had Napster, LimeWire.
but exactly, and I don't know when Apple Music became like an official thing. Maybe it was 2010 to 2020. Maybe that's it.
Because iTunes,
I had iTunes for sure in the mid
Yeah, iTunes came out. Yeah, definitely in the early mid 2000s. But yeah, I just think it's so right. Like we were in a very interesting microcosm in that time period, and so I don't know. You grow up in that era. You know, 2000, I was 8 years old. 2010, I was 18. Literally all my formative years were through that when Facebook came in and Instagram and all of these sorts of things. So like, or Instagram's 2011 maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I just think we have a very interesting like observation of culture just because being born in that time and going through all those changes. So like we had more access to the internet, you know, and now that like Gen Z has even more access because they were born and bred in it, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know. I just find it very interesting. But then I also was like, damn it, am I gonna have to change my tagline? Because I'm technically a Zennial, but like.
That's what so the beginning of this podcast was like, so what do we have in common? We're kind of the in-betweeners. Like we can either be older Gen Zs or young millennials. Like, you know, which one you want to take.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's why I put like cool young millennial on because I was like, I don't know. Like, technically I'm a millennial, but also like, I don't know. Y'all, the way they talk about the financial crisis in 2008, I'm like, I wasn't worried about getting a job then. I was still in school.
Right.
I was in high school. So.
We didn't get to like go to the Occupy movement or any of that either.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, ah.
Wait, let me tell you about some foolery. So I was like Team Occupy Wall Street. So I thought it was cute to get like the Starbucks, like the thing that they put on the cup. And then I wore it around my wrist and wrote hashtag Occupy. Little did I know, Starbucks, big capitalist company, but I thought it was cute.
And that's really ironic.
You were making a statement. Not a statement, a statement.
Really thought I was doing
You used to
something.
be like mad, like wristband guy. Like you had like
I
Live
had 'em
Strong.
Oh no, not the Live Strong.
You had a problematic wrist in high school.
Damn.
Not a problematic risk.
At least you were trying. I wasn't even like political back then. I remember we were in high school and
true.
you're like, I'm a Democrat. And I was like,
I was very sure.
I don't know.
You said you were a Democrat in high school?
I worked for the Democratic Party. I showed up
Young
to the
Democrat.
things. I did the canvassing.
What?
I phone
Okay.
banked.
So you're not new to this, you're true to this. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
I just became more left getting older.
I don't think
That's
you
what
were
happened.
actually like capable of defending your opinions that well back then. Maybe like
I
it
won. I
maybe
was
you
second
were.
place in Model UN.
Oh, we just didn't talk about it then.
Yeah, you weren't political. So obviously he was like, I can't talk to you about it.
One of the most
That's
embarrassing facts about me is when I turned 18, I registered libertarian because I just didn't know any better.
Oh yes.
I was like,
he was
I don't subscribe to the
libertarian.
two-party system. I want to do like independent. I'll be like, I'm a libertarian, and now I'm like, no,
Such a cringe.
that will always like. I feel like that's on my voting record. Like someone can find that.
You were a libertarian and a rampant. You were like an aggressive atheist.
Oh, yeah, that was
Aggressive.
We all have had that one friend that found atheism and was like,
I watched like one Richard Dawkins video and just started talking shit to people about their religion.
yeah, you know what? It's stupid. God is God is dead. Like, damn. The woman in the hijab is like, what? I can make that joke. I grew
Six
up
God,
Muslim.
he's stupid. All right.
Yeah, he's stupid. I love how I never even clarified after that. I just left it as that weird religious service and was like, anyway. No, I think this was my first year, or last year was my first year voting in a U.S. election. I know, I'm embarrassed. I know. Because the first election, I was
Off the record.
16. Yeah, you can keep it on. It's fine. It's a learning moment. People I think are a lot kinder when you say that as opposed to thinking that you know everything. If you're just like, hey, I don't know anything. What's up?
We don't.
Because literally. But yeah, when Barack Obama got elected, I wasn't old enough to vote. And that was when we'd officially like moved to Canada. So I was like, okay, whatever. But then, yeah, the other elections, I voted in Canadian elections once I became a citizen, but I was like, oh, it's not that big a deal, whatever. And then I was like, nope, gotta register Democrat. Here we go. And then Georgia didn't embarrass me. And I was like,
Oh my
you have to
God.
vote in the last place that you lived. So I had to
Right.
vote in Georgia. And even down to the county, like I used to live in Gwinnett County. So I was like watching it like, don't fuck it up.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Thank you.
No. All my Canadian friends were like, you saved the US election. I was like, I did. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank
All your
you.
white friends texting you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Georgia.
for voting. It was up to you. You tied it. You broke the tie. I was like, I know.
We
And then
did it, Khadija.
We did. Although we did do a whole episode thanking Stacey Abrams for her work.
But we have to because
Yeah.
Stacey,
True.
like, come on, like Stacey Abrams actually single-handedly saved
Absolutely.
Georgia. Like she actually
Hello?
did.
Mhm.
Look at the facts. Like, anyway.
God bless Stacey Abrams.
So, do you feel like you follow Canadian politics like just as much, or are you still like pretty hyper focused on what's going on here?
Well, so what I try to do now is just listen to the news 10 minutes a day. So I actually listen to the CBC World News Report because it's a Canadian broadcast, but it still talks about different stuff from around the world, but they're still focused in Canada. So I try to do a little bit of both. Just because I don't know if I'll ever live in the States again. I haven't completely ruled it out, but I also am like, the way y'all are playing there, like Canada has its problems, but if I have options, you know what I'm saying? So
You have healthcare.
So what I
Yeah.
need to It's true. What I need to know is, how do you feel about the fall of Daddy Trudeau? It went from hot to not real quick.
It didn't surprise me because I'm just like, okay, yes, Daddy Trudeau. I still call him Daddy Trudeau. I know it's inappropriate. I don't care. I think I feel more comfortable calling men daddy now that I'm like fully embracing the gayness, you know? Like I'm just like, oh, daddy, what's up? I'm like, I'll never call you that actually, so bye.
They get zaddy if they're real nice.
You know, Zed. But
Justin lost that privilege.
he definitely, when we saw
Yeah.
the blackface, we were like, we're demoting you. But
Wait, I was thinking this last night. Do you consider yourself an educator?
oh yeah, okay. So somebody asked me this before, and I was like, no.
Educator, hardly knew her. Come on, dad joke. Oh my god.
That's one of my favorite jokes. Oh my
Normally, that joke never works. Like, it's always, like, forced. But that was
Yeah.
really funny.
That was so good. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, educator. I would say like okay. Yes and no. Me personally, I don't necessarily consider like I have it in like my bio and stuff like that, but literally the labels and stuff that I put in my bio or how I tell people to address me is more for them than it is for me. Like educator I put in there because I was like I need another word cuz I like lists. And then
The rule of three.
you know and as well I was like, you know, I always wanted to be a sociology prof before, like that was a dream of mine, and then I was like, no. But I know that I do educate people online, whether I want to claim that title or not. So if people want to call me that, I don't care. That's cool. For myself, I just say it for other people. Like it doesn't really mean anything to me to be called an educator. And I know somebody might feel weird about that, but to me, it's like I just like to share information that I'm learning. And whoever finds it online and it registers with them and they like it, cool. Like, because I don't know. I just get really weary about people getting so attached to certain labels and identifiers that it just like is all they're about. Like I'm still trying to figure out who the heck I am. It's changing all the time. Like, you know, you can see it in the videos that I do. My language is changing, all of this stuff. So like for me, I just think educator, just because of the connotation that it has, it's like the way I view the word God. Like I'm just like, we have all of these, there's so much history behind that word that it makes me apprehensive to use it necessarily, even if I believe what the meaning of it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess the reason why I ask, because like my background is like teaching middle school students, so I instead of saying teacher, I say educator, and then I use pedagogy and all these like other languages to describe that. But so when I watch your content, I'm like, oh, like this person is educating the masses, the masses. But
Wait, you were saying earlier about like you have to teach someone something that you've already learned before. It could be like exhausting having to educate people when you don't necessarily want to. So you get to at least like educate on your own terms. Like you get to talk about the subjects you want to talk about. If somebody wants to learn something from you, you can say, "Go watch this video I made."
Exactly.
You know, instead of having to take up
be a part of
space
the
in
journey,
that moment, right?
No, because I think it is exhausting, and I want to be able to like. It's kind of cheesy, but on my Instagram bio, I basically have like that I believe in learning, love, death, and laughter. And that's literally it. Like I believe in learning and I believe in sharing what I've learned. I don't like when people hoard knowledge. And that's why I didn't like sociology as much, because it just felt like a bunch of elite sociologists circle jerking each other. And then, you know, like I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. This language isn't accessible. How do you expect anyone to read about this? Sociology is literally a science about people. And yet, so I just like, for me, I believe in all of those things because I'm like, I like to teach ish. Yes, I like to learn all of that. But I also just believe that this is all play. Like, we get to like be here, not understand what this is, what it's about, whether you're religious or not. No one can really tell you why we're here. So we get to just create in everything we do. Like right now, we're creating a relationship, a dynamic. We're speaking to each other. We're having and we're laughing a lot. And to me, love is exchanged in laughter. And so the reason that I don't, I guess, subscribe to educator is not just because like I'm not standing in a classroom and blah, 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 but also because I'm making these videos and I just want it to be fun. Like, I learned about this and I want you to have as much fun learning about it as I did learning about it. And so, like, when I see a really good documentary or when I see a really good, when I see a really good, series where they're educating you about something, I'm just like, ooh, this is great. And how fun it is. Like, I just think it needs to be fun. Human beings forget. Like, I think we're just at our most honest when we're kids. And we really forget that as we get older. Kids, you can't teach kids something by standing in front of a room and going, now this and this, and they disengage. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, maybe our attention spans are getting worse, but also maybe our attention spans just aren't meant to be held for too long anyway. So maybe somebody will get more information out of doing a bunch of jump cuts and lots of media and fun things and making jokes and being distracted because it just feels more relatable. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, that was a tangent.
No, I love it. I love it. I mean, it's like that joy of sharing something, right? And like I learned this word the other day. Do you know the word compersion?
No.
It's when you feel happiness or joy when you witness someone else feeling joy.
That's literally me!
Right? That's what I was thinking. Yes, compersion.
It's the opposite of Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that!
It's happening right now. To get that joy.
Right?
Sorry, that just made me so happy.
Right.
Sorry. Oh my God. Okay.
But we started doing self-care Sunday too. We took that from you.
Don't you love it? Like Sunday,
Amazing.
I'm like, nobody talk to me. Nothing. We're doing masks, a bath. I'm having wine. I'm ordering food. Like, nothing. I might be in this bed all day. Maybe I'll do some fun stuff. I'll just dance around to some disco in my living room. Everyone needs one day where they just only do the things they want to do. Because we always forget. Like, this is something that I'm learning in the past, like 2 weeks especially, is that like, I have to take care of myself like a child, because not just mentally, but physically. Because I don't have an adult taking care of me anymore because I am an adult, And I think we always forget that we have to treat ourselves like children. Like, Khadija, did you drink water today? Did you go outside? Did you go for a walk? Did you get any sun? Did you take a nap because you were a little grumpy? Are you eating because you were a little grumpy? Like, okay, sit and do this work for a while and then after take a break. Like, even earlier I said something about like my dumb ass and I was like, Khadija, you're not dumb. And then I, like just little stuff like that. Like, I think we really have to pay attention to like, I'm just really about people taking care of themselves, because I think the way you interact with yourself speaks volumes about the way you interact with other people.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's a good point.
And for me, if I ever want to know something about someone, if I see the way they talk to themselves and also how they talk to their friends and how their friends interact with them. Because like my parents used to always say birds of a feather flock together. And I used to hate when they'd say that. But I do believe it, because if I look at my friends around, there are so many things that I love and appreciate about them. There's things that I admire, that I want to take in for myself. And I feel like the people that you surround yourself with are reflections of parts of you, just like you are parts of them. So I don't know. I'm just become, as I'm getting older, way more mindful about that stuff, about who I let into my life as a close friend. What I share with people on the internet and how much information about me I give them, how I interact with perfect strangers, because you're in relation to people at any time, no matter how brief the interaction is. So you have to take that seriously, because people, I think, don't understand how impactful we are. Like, we really think that we don't have so many of us think that there's we're of no consequence to other people. It's whatever. Whereas when you start, at least to me, I speak for myself, when I started really taking myself seriously in terms of learning about myself and taking care of myself and really treating myself well, I realized, oh no, everything I do has a reaction. And I need to make sure that no matter what, as to the best of my abilities, it's not always going to be perfect, but on certain days, or not on certain days, sorry, but any given moment, if I'm interacting with a stranger, I don't want them to feel worse off having met me, no matter how brief or long that interaction was, because we're taking in things all the time and we don't always pay attention to what we're taking in. So if you have a bad interaction with somebody, you know, if this interview was really shitty and terrible and I was just not talking and I was really annoyed and whatever, you both leave and maybe you turn off the camera and you're talking to each other and you feel kind of weird about it. And even if it's not like a major impact, it might still affect your day, you know? And that's not me trying to sound vain, like what I do can impact people. But I think what all of us do ripples out and it's interaction. So that's why I joke around that I'm such a big hippie. But I think that there needs to be a bit of that element when we talk about social issues, when we talk about when we talk about all of these really heavy topics. Like there needs to be a remembering of, okay, we're doing all of this, we're unpacking, we're trying to figure this out, but also let's go back to the fact that we are human beings at the end of the day. Now let's go back to this, unpack. Remember though, you know, it's holding things as much as you can, holding two truths, or what I call improv rules. Yes, and. Yes, we deal with racism, we deal with all these things, and I'm still a person. Yes, this is a serious topic, and I like to laugh. You know, like stuff like that. I don't know.
I feel like that's a saying we come to a lot, is like the why can't both of these things be true? Like sometimes I feel like we're talking
I say it all the time.
And that usually ends up being the proper answer. We're like, this is not actually
so we're
that
just
black
friends. So we're just friends is what's happened here. We're all just friends. This is clearly like, you know, when you just meet people and you vibe, this is literally what's happening here. All right, perfect.
We made it.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
I've come to peace with the idea that like some friends come for a season, but I also struggle with the dynamism of that, because I want...
Ooh, what's dynamism?
Like the fact that people are always changing, like they're dynamic, right?
Dynamic. Okay.
Yeah, you boy out here making words.
Listen, I
has been on point today.
It has been. I'm like, I'm gonna, because I forgot the other word that you told me already. But I just, you just sent me an email.
Yeah, we can email you.
Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
But like I struggle with the fact that like I've accepted that, you know, I had certain friends in college. I no longer talk to them. But then I struggle with the fact that is a crystallized version of them back then, you know? And if I want to reach out to them, they're different people and they may not want to talk to me. And I think it took me a while to accept that, like, you know, that y'all meshed back then, but you don't mesh now. So I feel like there's something about the reflection on that beat or that moment between people that may not, you know, maybe they won't remember it 10 years down the line. So I don't know, like maybe that's the play.
It's maybe they won't. And I don't expect that everyone will, but I think it's a thing of like, in that moment, it's an impact, you know? And who's to say what it can do going further on, you know? And I'm a very sentimental person, so I remember so many random things. When people do nice stuff for me out of nowhere, even if it's the smallest thing, I'm like, you were thinking of me to do this? And I'll bring it up like years later, and people are like, girl, oh my God, calm down. But it means a lot to me. And so I don't know, I think even if like somebody is dropping off an Uber order and they're like, oh, hi, oh, Khadija, well, your name's Khadija, my cousin's name is Khadija. I'm like, oh, cool, cute, whatever. Just letting it be something that's nice and not, I don't know. I just, it's, what is that? The Cinderella movie, the live action one where they're like, you must always have courage and be kind.
Are we talking about the Whitney Houston one, or are we talking?
No, the 20.
Impossible.
The Hillary Duff one? Chad Michael Murray?
This is so funny. Stop this. I can't. You both were just like, wait. We're all talking about three different. We're all talking about three different Cinderellas.
Wait, no. Halloween Town?
Oh, I love Halloween Town. Don't get me started on Halloween Town.
It says so much about us which Cinderella story
we each said.
Chad Michael Murray is Whitney Houston.
I just meant the one from 2015. It was really cute. It's not.
Wait, no, go ahead.
No, I can't even remember. It's just they just
be courageous and kind. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I even though it's really cheesy, I thought that it was just really cute, because I think that that's something we should all remember is like fear. Yeah, it serves its purpose at times, but it doesn't need to be our primary default. And like, there was this thing that I had heard on Radio Lab that I really loved when they were talking about the cataclysm sentence of like asking different artists and writers and things like that, what piece of advice would they impart to the next generation of humans if, you know, we became extinct. And one of them was like, you know, apart from your fear of falling and loud noises, most of your fears are negligible and can be managed. So like, you don't need to be like being afraid of everything. The only ones that are really natural are like, yeah, falling or something loud, like, you know, protection, survival mode stuff. And there are probably others too, but apart from those actual like innate human survival ones, for the most part, most of your fears are mostly negligible. It's just, you can talk yourself in and out of anything if you give yourself enough time.
True.
How, like, as friends, like, I feel like we find it important to like compliment each other a lot, but it's also just as important to be able to accept those positive vibes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, are you ever like nice to someone and they
Yes.
don't actually receive it or they don't actually acknowledge
Bad
it?
at taking compliments.
And if someone's bad at taking compliments, like it feels bad for you to compliment them. And be
Yeah.
like, no, stop. Like, I'm trash. I'm garbage.
I'm learning
Like,
that. I'm learning that too. Like so many of my friends, I'll be like, can you just accept it? And then they turn
Yeah,
around
just
to
say
me and
thanks.
I'm like, eh.
We love to
But-
gas up our friends, but then like can't handle the gas.
We can't. It's so weird. I was gonna ask y'all though, going back to your other point about realizing that people had changed over time, and maybe the person that you had been friends with at that time wasn't. How do y'all think that relates to the internet?
It's so funny because the internet. Do you watch The Circle, by the way?
No.
So
I'm
on
not
Netflix,
doing
there's
this.
this show.
I'm not doing The Circle. I know what it is. I know what it is. Okay.
We'll strike that from the record. We'll
We will
strike the
take
shade,
no circle
shade,
slander here.
Circle, we love you. Don't.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Please accept our application to season 3. The views and opinions
You
expressed
hear
in this
that?
episode do not
All of a
reflect our
sudden, I'm on season 3. I'm like, Circle, pull up blah blah blah's profile.
I guess it's good now.
When the check was right, yeah. Check was looking real cute. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
What was your point about it?
Wait.
Thank you for keeping us on track. Oh my god. Like,
Oh yeah. The reason why I was bringing it up is because on that show, it's all about creating this like fake niceness, right? This like internet persona of like how you want people to consume you, which is generally the best version or the most positive version, whatever it is. So I feel like it's like you got to take it with a grain of salt when you think of like when I view the only thing that I take like observationally true is like, oh, this person has a baby or this person's married or this person's XYZ or the other, but I can't be like, oh, this person must be happy all the time. Oh, wow, they must be in Mexico all the time. No, that ain't true. They have slow releasing pics over months of their trip to Mexico.
people plan that out. I don't know
Yeah.
the mental the thought that takes, because I'm like, immediately I'll post a picture if I'm there. Like I'm just like, I don't want to schedule any.
Yeah, that is strange. If somebody has like one trip to Mexico that they space out over like 3 months.
Yeah.
It's like you're compensating for something here. Like you don't need to seem happy every week or on
That
vacation.
too.
Yeah.
Like, I
Oh
don't
shit!
know.
Yeah, you don't.
People
need to
don't
see-
post enough depression pics on Instagram, I guess is what I'm saying. Like let's see that.
Wait. Hold on. Let me gas up. So Topher said this morning. He said, we were eating breakfast, and he was like, we were talking about parents and like whatever, and he said, you know what? He didn't say you know what, but he said, it's okay to disappoint your parents. Oh, we were talking about like people like who are religious and dating, you know, and their parents not wanting to date other people and being like, well, it's okay, like disappoint your parents. Why are you so? Why do we have this propensity to not disappoint our parents?
Because we came from them and we're like, we owe you so much. And society's really weird about that. I don't know. To me, I'm like, nobody earns trust with me, not even my parents. You have to earn trust. And you don't just get it just because I'm related to you. Like, and people think that that's weird, but I'm like, as much as I appreciate it, y'all were the vessel that I came out of, you know? And I appreciate it. I didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to be here. It just happened. But now that we're all here, let's figure out how we're going to relate to each other, you know? Like,
Definitely.
let's build this relationship.
That's the struggle of adulthood, though, because like by the
True.
time I moved out of my parents' house, I didn't know them at all. I don't think. Like,
No, same.
I still feel like I barely know them as a person the way I know like my friends.
Exactly. I'm like, I need to interview my parents because I'm just like, I did that a few months
That's
ago
a great
with my
podcast
parents.
idea.
Yeah. And now I'm going to do it again because I lost all the footage. But yeah.
Do you know the podcast Nancy at all?
I've listened to a few episodes.
So one of the co-hosts, they interview their mom and they talk about, the fact that queer people have to come out like over and over again. And this specific one was him coming out to his mom, like, or no, it was the female identifying host, like the third time coming out to her, and her like the mom just saying like, "What do you want for dinner?" And then like going to the bathroom and then never talking about it again. And it's just that interesting like. Capturing that moment felt so personal, but it was like, I think queer people need to hear that validation, right?
It's very true. Like, off the record. No, yeah, I recently came out to my parents, and it was very interesting because my parents are West African and Muslim. And so I initially was always told by my mom that my dad would have a really hard time. My mom used to always ask me if I was queer because I had a lot of queer friends and I was like in art school and I just was like friends with anyone.
You're so creative.
She's like, you're creative. You must be a little gay. But she would always be like, you could tell me. It'll disappoint your dad. And I was always like, and then come to find out, I tell my dad and he was like, you're still Khadija. We love you. Blah, 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 blah. Was super supportive. And I was like, yeah. And then my mom was like,
Oh no.
the children. I was like, girl, I was
The children.
anyway. So
Wait, don't you have like 5 siblings, 6 siblings, or something like that?
4 siblings. Yeah. She was more so talking about like if I were to have kids, all of this whole ideal of like me having a husband and blah blah blah. I was like, no.
Well, it sounds like her asking you about it was her prepping herself for the news, right? She had put a lot of thought into it, whereas your dad was just like, oh, yeah.
I didn't even, when I was in high school and stuff, it wasn't even a thing for me to think, oh, maybe I'm a lesbian. Like, I didn't think that. Or maybe I'm queer. I didn't. I just was like, oh, I have queer friends, whatever. People do whatever they want. Like, that was just my mentality about it. And then, yeah, in my 20s, I was like, maybe I'm not so straight. And then this year, I was like, yeah, I'm gay. Wow. Gay. Wow.
Do you so what I learned from ContraPoints was the comp het idea, like compulsory heteronormativity. Sis.
I was like,
fucks me up.
it will get you every time. And I had studied it a bit in school because of sociology, but for some reason I still was like, this is an interesting concept.
Academic.
Literally just trying to be the observer. I've always been pretty like chill about telling my parents about dating life anyway, especially like after a certain point. After I was like 23, 24, I just stopped. If I was dating someone, I just was like, there's no point in telling them unless I'm going to marry someone, you know?
Right.
And then before I was always like, I'm not going to come out to my parents unless I'm with someone and we're about to get married. And then one of my friends was like, Khadija, that's not really fair to the person. And I was like, oh. And then my therapist was like, yeah, don't do that. Like, don't wait. Because then your parents find out this news and then you're like, also meet blah, blah, blah. So.
Oh, I love your roommate.
I mean, I think generally it's better to disappoint your parents than your partner in that instance, right? Like,
exactly.
You do owe them something. Like.
You do. Like, it's like, to me, it wasn't even from a place of malice, but I just wasn't even thinking. I was like, I don't want to bother them about something. But I didn't realize how much okay, you can keep all of this. I don't know why I was saying to, like, take it off. This happened a while. Anyway, people should hear it because I feel like, especially if you're, like, child of immigrants or your parents are Black and religious, it's hard to hear that. So me saying my Muslim parents, like, and my dad is the most religious man I know. And he was just like, it's not my job to judge God's creations. It's not my job to say why God created
nice.
food. I was like, ah! Like, it was so like.
What did you think about circling way back, but like about the Drag Race, the final episode, and all of their parents were really supportive.
Yeah, that
I
was
feel
so
like,
wholesome.
is that the evolution of what? Because Drag Race used to have like, my parents don't even know. They've
Yeah,
never
my
seen
parents
it.
don't know I do drag. They've never seen it. My parents think I'm straight, like all the things. I don't know, to me it just made sense because I always had this mindset of like if I had ever had kids, it wouldn't have bothered me from the time that I was young, before I even knew that I was queer. But that was just because, and this is part of it, like my parents worked a lot, so they weren't really around. So I kind of was just raised off of whatever I consumed. And they never imparted to me any like, oh, gay people know, these people this. Like, I'm not going to say that my parents don't have their issues or whatever like that, but they never would say that stuff to me. So as a result, like me and my sister talk about this, her and I especially are just more so very like, yeah, chill, do whatever you want, be whoever you are. Like, we're just very, like, we just have that attitude. So I'd always felt that way. If I ever had kids, that would be the situation. And so watching it, it just like, it didn't even register to me that parents would still be disapproving, because I'm like, it's 2021. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
time is also a factor. And we have so much more visibility now that like, it doesn't make sense to me that a parent would still feel that, you know what I mean? Like, still feel.
They're on the internet too. Like, they're not born and bred in it, but like
Exactly.
they are also a product of the times.
Exactly.
Full disclosure. So I'm in grad school for acting right now in the city, and I took a staging Black Queer Lives class last semester, and like, it was the first time that we were reading plays and watching movies that was just about Black queer people, and it was like mostly women because it was led by actually they're gender non-binary, but a gender non-binary person who primarily focused like female identifying pieces of work. So I'll send that syllabus to you. 'Cause
Yes.
it was the first time I was like, wait, we in this? Because you have to there's something about this, like, oh, I had a question about this I wrote down. But there's something about this amnesia about the Black archive or the Black queer archives that society
Yes.
perpetuates that doesn't exist. Black queer people,
Harlem
Black queer
Renaissance, they
people-
were out here being queer as hell.
Zora Neale
queer as
Hurston?
hell.
What?
Queer as
Queer as
hell.
fuck.
Like, I'm like,
Lacey, he's out here sucking dick on 113th Street. Like, let's be clear. Let's be clear here.
I am done. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. Wow. Out here sucking dick. Damn.
Them cheeks were getting clapped in the end.
I am done with you. We get it. Damn. I'm kidding.
Final thoughts. Are you plugging anything? Yeah, just those two.
Final thoughts. This has just been so great. I don't know. Yeah, I really lifted my mood because I was so sleepy and I was like, I gotta put these eyebrows on. And
Oh wait. It's our internet.
It's the connection again.
Yes.
All right.
I'm literally right next
Whoa.
to this motherfucking Wi-Fi box.
Damn.
At least you're moving, you know.
Who invented Wi-Fi?
Let me talk to him. Where's the manager?
I just want to be like, whoever invented Wi-Fi, blah, 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 didn't die for this. Like, this isn't fair. It's not right. Literally, the modem is
Ask
right.
Jeeves. The Jeeves didn't die for this.
Jeeves didn't die for this. Jeeves did not die for this.
That's the final thought.
That's my final thought. Why is the Wi-Fi so bad? No, I don't think I have any real final thoughts. I just want to say thanks for making this such a lovely morning.
Yes.
Thank you. You definitely
Thank
made my
you.
day already.
Right, this
I feel
is great.
We're just gonna kill it. I don't know what we have planned for us today, but
Yeah, this is good.
thank you for listening to the Avant In podcast. I am one of your hosts, Topher Wagner.
I'm another host, Jerome Allen, and
Go ahead.
no.
We just want to really thank our guest, Khadija.
Oh my
Mbowe,
gosh,
for coming through.
amazing.
Check out their content on YouTube
Please.
and TikTok and Instagram and all the works.
Please. It is youtube.com. Just type in Khadija Mbowe.
Mo. It's all
There we go.
good. Literally, so
Damn.
many people. It's honestly fine. I've heard so many iterations of my last name.
And yeah,
Yeah, if you liked what you heard, please check us out on Instagram.
Also,
Twitter,
if you
Facebook.
loved our theme song, please also follow Knox Engler on Spotify. That was the song Mend. Actually, we do this at the end of every podcast. We have a little taking out quote. Khadija, do you have any quote for the audience to take them out? Any sweet, sweet goodness to give them as they...
Ooh, oh, I love a quote. Uh-oh. Y'all shouldn't have done this. I have like a list of quotes in my phone. Okay, the one that immediately comes to my mind is, oh no, there are two.
Tell them both. ¿Por qué no los
okay.
We'll
dos?
pick one.
Okay,
We're gonna list those.
so first one, dreaming is a form of planning. That's Gloria Steinem. Second one, knowing is only rumor until it lives in the muscle.
Well, love you, bye.
Bye.